The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag tncnow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. We are a community that helps you be the new you. My name is Jennifer Nuya, live streaming from Cavite, Philippines, and you're watching Season 1, Episode 6 of Stories from the Fringe. It's 100 days before Christmas. How time flies. Now, if you're still stumped with gift ideas, I recommend that you, okay, that you head out to IG and check out Private Pop Avenue PH. They have many, check out their Filipino terno. They come in different designs and popping colors. Of course, let me mention also that they have pearls and other unique accessories. All right, so if this is your first time tuning in to Stories from the Fringe, Stories from the Fringe is a platform that aims to make diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging an important aspect of our lives. We believe that differences like race, age, ability, among others, should not only be seen and accepted but also celebrated. So we do this by pushing uncomfortable topics about DNIB from the fringe to the front and center of our conversations. We believe that we can all be a part of this collective vision. Let me know that you can hear me by typing into the comment section where you are chiming in from today and what curiosity you are bringing. And we'll be happy to hear from you. You can also use the same chat box to drop in your comments, questions, or anything that you would like to share with us. We'll be happy to hear from you. In order to make the most of our time together, we recommend that you turn off all distractions and prepare to take notes, mental orients, so that you can be fully engaged and focused with our guest today, Sangeeta Sumesh, who I will be introducing in just a moment. So let me also take this time to thank our avid supporters. Thank you, Apple Maninsala, for being a constant support, and also Cholita Esplana, Maninsala, Cholita Esplana rather. I hope that you get well soon, including you, my prayers for your speedy recovery. Also, thank you, Ring Bautista. She is chiming in from Japan. Also, Kali Chuseho. Kali Chuseho is a coach. Looking forward to our conversation next Thursday. Also, JR Vergara. Thank you so much. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Sangeeta Sumesh to Stories from the Fringe. It's great to have you here, Sangeeta.
It's a delight to be on the show, Jen, and it's amazing. Thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you here. Can you please provide our viewers with a brief background of yourself and the work that you do?
Right. So I'm a chartered accountant and management accountant with over 25 years of experience in the corporate world. And my last role was as the chief financial officer and executive director in a multinational called Dun& Bradstreet. So I felt, if I'm able to contribute to the growth of one organization, what if I'm able to extend it to more? So that's what prompted me to start my journey as a coach. So now I'm a
Mm,
business and leadership coach. I work with corporate leaders and entrepreneurs, enabling high performance and enhancing financial growth. So
mm,
my mission is to enable, empower, and elevate businesses and individuals so that they can maximize their potential. So I've also completed my executive education from Harvard Business School, and a lot of my career has
mm,
been in Southern Africa, in Botswana with PricewaterhouseCoopers, and then I decided to relocate back home, which is in India, in Chennai,
mm,
the southern part of the city. It's also by the coast, and I love Philippines. I was there in 2019, and
mm,
beautiful, beautiful country and loving people. So I really love. I was there as a speaker at the Global Author Summit, and yes, so
mm,
that reminds me, I'm also an author. I have written about 4 to 5 books, and it's called What's the Finance, which is a bestseller, and also Get High, How to Coach Yourself for High Performance in Your Work. And my latest book that's just out, it's called Where's the Moolah? Moolah means money. So it's
yeah.
like, where's the money during these times? Yes, and I'm also a professional speaker. So that's a little bit
Mm,
about me and what I do. And I'm extremely passionate about diversity and inclusion, because I think that's where we all need to leverage upon. So I'm trying to do some work in that space as well.
mm. So thank you for sharing your background, Sangeeta. So where's the mula in amidst this pandemic?
Yes. So it is for businesses to see how they can actually leverage. I know this the current times we are in is very challenging for all businesses, right? So during these times, what can businesses actually do so that they are able to grow their profits despite the challenges that they are facing? And also what I say is, cash is king. Cash is like
Yes.
oxygen for a business, but this business cannot be without money. So
Mm,
how businesses, what can they actually do so that they are able to grow profitably and also manage their cash flow? So that's what the book is all about.
mhm. I remember when you said cash is king. That's the same thing that Janet Jung mentioned when she was so she was a guest in the show. She was the one in the season premiere.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
really interesting.
Yes, so I think I've met Janet Young when both of us were speakers at the Global Author Summit in Manila.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Nice, very nice.
All right, so you mentioned that you are a chartered accountant and have over 25 years in senior leadership roles. So, what will be the top three finance tips that you would like to share with our viewers?
Right, great. So you know what do people say? For a for a great health, you need to have a nutritious diet, right? So similarly, I say, if you want to have good wealth, you
Hmm.
need to have a good financial diet, right? Because finance is one area most of us tend to take it for granted, and we tend to ignore it. So if we can pay a little bit of attention to our finances, then that would really help. So what do I mean by financial diet? simple things like, working towards achieving your financial goals. What are the financial goals you've set for yourself and how you plan to achieve them? Have you prepared a budget, right, so that you can manage your finances accordingly, be it both for your business or even your personal life, right? So both ways you need to see how you can manage your budget, and then you need to see how you can maximize your earning potential. You need to watch what you're spending, right? Because many times we tend to get on an impulsive behavior, impulsive decision making, and finance is never really on top of our mind. So it'll be good if you can watch your spend and see what needs to be done. And as a thumb rule, I would say savings first and then you spend, because many times we tend to do it the other way around. But then if you put your savings first, that helps. And you need to develop the right financial mindset. So that is on the financial diet. The second thing that I would like to tell is to diversify your portfolio. Like we know, don't put all your eggs in the same basket. So see how well you can diversify. And third, and the important thing is to differentiate between an appreciating asset and a depreciating asset, because that actually can open up a lot of things. When we say I'm going to invest into an asset, which is great, but is it an appreciating asset or a depreciating asset? That's something you need to think before you actually go ahead with the investment. And as a bonus tip, what I would also like to share is, if you can't curb your expenses, then look for ways by which you can increase your revenue. Because curtailing your expenses can become quite challenging for most of us at many times. But hey, if you can increase your revenue, then you don't really have to worry about your expenses. And that's what I thought I would share with all of you.
Hmm. All right. But I think that those are really good tips. But if, for example, I am a minimum wage earner and I really cannot pinch anymore. So how can I even save, much less diversify or build a portfolio?
Right, right. So, very good question. So, all you need to do is to see how you need to prioritize, how you are able to prioritize where you want to spend your money on. So you need to put the important things first. And more importantly, you need to differentiate between your needs and wants, right?
Mm,
So the needs, of course, there's no compromise, because there you need it for your living. But then your
mm,
wants is something that's a little different. So once you know and learn to differentiate between the two, that could help.
mm. Yeah, interesting, interesting. And then you also mentioned that you are into high performance. So to you personally, what does high performance constitute?
Right. So high performance is, very simply put, achieving superior results by performing at a high standard, right? And it is as per the targets that you're setting yourself. So basically, high performance is when you're aiming to become a better version of yourself. You don't
Mm,
really have to compete with others, but you're competing with your own self to see how you can get better
mm,
compared to what you were yesterday, for instance, right? So what
yeah.
steps are you taking to get better? So in fact, my book Get High, which is how to coach yourself for high performance in your work, is exactly about this. So I've given like frameworks and tips and tricks, and it's like an activity book to see how you can get better at what you do. So basically, set yourself good targets on what you want to work towards, so that there is improvement in what you do.
Mm. And can you please provide our viewers three actionable insights so they can perform at their
Right.
highest peak, at their best version of themselves?
Yes, great. So the first thing I would say is to set goals. Now, many times I've noticed many people don't have realistic goals. They don't have goals, or even if they do have, it's probably not real. So,
Mm,
if one were to set goals, how should that be? So, the thing I would say is, I'm an acronym person. I love sharing acronyms because the recall value is higher and it's easy to remember.
mm.
So the acronym for goals, I would say, is you know the name Tom, TOM, right?
All
So
right.
just think of Tom as an acronym. So what does T stand for? T is the time frame, right?
Mm,
By what is the time frame within which you want to accomplish whatever you want to achieve? O is the objectives. The objectives is to re-emphasize so that you really know what is wanting you, why you're doing what you're doing. So once you have your objectives, so that it's actually coming from within, and it's not because somebody else is doing or somebody else is thrust it upon you. So be clear on what your objectives are. And M is to measure your progress, measure what you really want to do, how have you improved, what have you achieved in regards to the goal. So the first tip I wanted to share is set your goals, and the yardstick could be term, which is your time frame, objectives, and the measure. The second tip is to see how you can focus, because many times what happens, we want to focus, but then the mind, there's always mind chatter that happens, and you tend to get distracted with so many different things. So in fact, if you've read the book The Inner Game of Tennis, the author Timothy Halway has said something very nice. He says, for maximizing performance, the difference between your actual performance is the potential minus the interference. So once you're able to remove this interference, your performance is at the peak. So learn how you can focus, see what really works well for you. So the second tip is to see how you can focus. And the third thing is to see how you can leverage on your strengths and manage your weaknesses. Because, I strongly believe all of us have been bestowed with so many different strengths, but are we leveraging those strengths? And at the same time, while we have strengths, each of us have our own weaknesses as well.
Mm.
So how are you managing your weaknesses? How are you, able to work around the weaknesses and just leverage on your strengths so that the best in you comes out? So those are the three things I thought I should share on high performance.
Mm. That's wonderful. Really easily digestible framework for everyone. So you got that, viewers. We have Tom, time frame, and then also objective, and then measure. Because what gets measured gets done.
Absolutely.
So, and then also we need to make sure that we know our objective, our big why we are doing the things that we are doing. Because when the going gets tough, it's easier to just let go and also just give up. But if you are very sure about your big why, you can always go back to that and be reminded that these are the things that I have to do.
Yes.
Especially if
Absolutely.
that's what Michael Collins said, big hag, big hairy audacious goals, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So and also we have to have deadline for our goals. All
True.
right. So, and then what do you think? This is one question that we ask our viewers on the show. So, how is high performance, and how is your work on high performance contributing to a diverse, equitable, and inclusive world?
Is that for me or for the viewers?
I'm sorry, Sangeeta, that's for you.
Okay. So, like I said, uh, each of us have our own strengths, right? So as a coach, I work with different people, like I mentioned, and see how is it I can bring out the best in each of them, right? So tell me, before I even share more about this, like, there are so many, if I were to say diverse, the diversity is not just on gender. It is, it could be the race, it could be the skill set, right? So
Mm,
when you look at diversity, it is a huge array, right? So there are so many different people who can bring in so many positive qualities. So as a coach, I see how is it I can bring out the best in them and help them to achieve their goals. So in, whichever walk of life, whichever business they are into. So I help, like I said, both the businesses and individuals. And I'm extremely passionate about women, right? I'm a very strong advocate, and I encourage women because I really feel, women, we have so many amazing qualities, and
mm,
for different reasons, for whatever it is, it is all not really coming up, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I love to see how I can make a difference, how I can contribute, especially to women. And in fact, I even did some online workshops on something called reboot your career, right? So sometimes women tend to take a break, right? And then it could be maternity or whatever reasons, and then after a few years they feel they want to re-enter the workforce. At least here in India, that's something very common. So
Mm-hmm.
they want to enter, but then they're like a little hesitant, little reluctant, saying, I haven't been working for so long, will I be able to get back? And they probably lacking the inner confidence. They actually have the capabilities and the potential, but it's just that they are holding themselves back. So I did this
Mm-hmm.
workshop, and it was amazing to see how women actually blossomed, how they have so many dreams, so many aspirations to really grow in their career, or whatever field of their choice. So it was a very self-satisfying moment for me, because when I could help these people to get and achieve their larger goals in life. So that is something that I do. And at the same time, both in my corporate career as well as even now, whenever I have the opportunity, I try to give a gentle nudge to the men, because I believe the men are the partners. They are partners with you at work, or they are partnering with you at home. And women, we just tend to think the whole world rests only on our shoulders. We are like, so not wanting to share the workload, because we've just been wired thinking that everything rests only on us. So it is just a gentle nudge that I like to give the men, and my colleagues and whoever, to say that you need to share the workload, so that it becomes a lot better. And the men also need to support and encourage women. So that is something that's very important. And like I mentioned to you, Jen, that I am starting something in the field of diversity along with few other friends, and we have come up with something called abide, which is another acronym. So wherein A stands for allyship, right? Because we need to be an ally for each other, so that the best in everybody comes out. B is belongingness. I is the inclusion aspect. D is the diversity, and E is the equity aspect. So that is what abide is all about. And if all of us can abide into abide, I think the world is going to be a much better place for all of us.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that it was a marvelous career camp that you did. I wish I was there. And are you going to have another reboot camp for that?
Well, if there are quite a few people interested, I am open to considering it.
Hmm. Wonderful. And then also abide. So how can we encourage more allyship?
Yes. So the first thing is the awareness, right? People need to become a lot more aware, because if you're so, wired and tuned into how everything was many years ago, then you're actually
Mm.
being blind to the possibilities that are there, right? So that is something that's very important. So the first step is to create awareness. When people start understanding the strength in the diversity, that's when things start to open up. Now if you were to take countries, the Scandinavian countries, right? In a company, the board of directors, there are about 40% of them who are women. So why
Mhm.
would they want to go into something like this? Simply because they want diverse thoughts, diversity in
Mhm.
thoughts, right? Because otherwise, men are wired in a particular way and women are wired in another way. So if it's going to be all men, the thought process is going to be, only in one direction. But then with
Mhm.
the diversity coming in, right,
Mhm.
it opens up many different avenues. And they also did a study in the Scandinavian countries, and they found that the boards that have more women actually were more successful. So that
Mhm.
is the power of diversity. Now looking at that, the people in India also have incorporated this. So now they have mandated that most companies need to have at least one woman director so that there is a lot more diversity. So that is how diversity is becoming so important and being really talked about today. So I think if women are given, a lot more strength and support, then a whole lot of difference can be created.
Hmm. Yeah. So you mentioned that women should be given more strength, but I believe that women are strong in themselves, but we just need to support them.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And also importantly, remind them, because we don't know our own strengths and capabilities. So only when it sometimes we are being reminded and then being said, hey, listen, you are actually capable of doing this. So that's what I do as a coach. I actually hold the mirror to them to say you
Hmm.
are, having this capability and the potential to do it.
Hmm. Yeah. I agree. I agree. All right.
Yes.
So, what do you think is the future of leadership?
That's a great question. And in fact, just last week we had this Finance Innovation and Excellence Summit, and this was exactly the topic I spoke about. What is the future of leadership? Now, this is my perspective on leadership. The thing is, leadership, I feel going forward is going to be a mix of many different things. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are they? So, if you were to take a moment's pause and step back, I'm sure you've heard of Alexander the Great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to look at his empire, it was huge, it was vast. How
Mm-hmm.
did he manage to rule? Because in that era, there were no flights, there was no technology, no internet, right? And yet, not just Alexander, I mean, all the kings of the bygone era, they were all recognized as leaders, right? And now we are actually cribbing in managing remote teams despite having so many, uh, facilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I must insist, the future, one aspect of the future is going to be transformation. There is going to be constant transformation along with the changing times. So, that is going to be one aspect. What can be the other aspects? So if you were to check with people from the previous century, the century before that, and going forward, tell me, would anybody say, I don't want health, I don't want happiness? No, right? Because that is something a given. Everybody wants good health, everybody wants happiness. So, similar is the concept of leadership. Be it for a business, be it for a nation, everybody wants a good leader. Nobody's going to say, no, I don't want a good leader. So, there is something about leadership which is not going to change. And what is that? That's going to be the values that you are exhibiting as a leader. So, therefore, the core of leadership, right, which is the values could, of course, differ from person to person, but the core of the leadership, the values, is not going to change. So, that is the second thing. So, while it's going to be transformational, it's also a part of it is not going to change. And then, what is the third thing? Like we know, this is the VUCA world we are living in, right? Where everything is uncertain. So a part of the leadership is probably not going to be predictable, and therefore it is a bit uncertain. And as a leader, you will have to deal with this unpredictability element. So you need to gear up yourself for the future so that you are in a much better space, and you need to have a good foresight and a vision so that you know how to handle. Because take the pandemic for instance, none of us ever anticipated it, but yet if you're a great leader with good vision, you must be agile so that you are able to take the challenge head on.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, about leadership, I would also say you need to be adaptive. Your style of leadership, right? I know we have heard about so many different styles of leadership,
Mm-hmm.
but I advocate something called the adaptive leadership, because you need to be able to adapt yourself to your team members, to the people that you're managing, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
each person is going to be different. You can't be authoritative to somebody who's already aggressive. And at the same time, you can't be too passive or you can't be too dominant to each person. So you need to adapt your style of leadership, and that's when the best in each person is going to come up. And to be ready for the future and be able to adapt yourself, you need to have a global mindset, a global
Mhm.
approach, and you must have an attitude of serving, right? That's where the concept of servant leadership has become very popular. And of course, you need to be tech savvy because this is a digital era we are living in. You need to show a lot of your empathy, be communicative, and engage with the team. And that's when the best for everybody is going to come out, because I believe a leader is only as strong as the team members, right? So to
Mhm.
conclude, I would say the future of leadership is all about values, and it's going to be a mix of these different four elements that I mentioned. So that's how I foresee, and
Mhm.
how leadership is going to be transforming.
Mhm. All right. So you mentioned here leadership values, adaptive leadership, global mindset, servant leadership, and also tech savviness. So what I've noticed is there is only but one that pertains about technical competencies, but more of the soft skills.
Absolutely, absolutely right. Yes, because uh, the academic qualifications and all that, anybody can get it, but it's these softer aspects that actually bring out and enhances your leadership quality. So if you want to be a great leader, it's these aspects that are extremely important and essential.
Mm-hmm. All right. Later, we'll discuss more about the leadership values needed in the 21st century for the future of work when we get back from our short break. TNC is a live stream platform of online shows for people on the go. We are inviting you to watch all our shows as seen on our screen. We aim to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and regional content. Our mission is to become a community where passionate people accept each other, share inspiration, and promote positive transformation. Our vision is to be a global 24/7 live stream channel that showcases Filipino talent, ingenuity, and global influencers. Of course, we encourage you to continue supporting Stories from the Fringe. This shows this show aims to promote DEIB. We are live every Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. Philippine Standard Time. If you miss any of our shows, we have replays available on the, the new channel. If you would like to have your own show or you would like to sponsor my show, please contact our channel through private message. We have more upcoming shows. Follow hashtag TNC Now on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms. Enjoy our life-changing shows because we made them just for you. All right, before we ask Sangeeta to join us, let me thank again those who support our show. Thank you to Erwin Manansala, Charm Oribe. She also has a show on TNC, COVID Stories. Also, Russell Imperial and Dominic Cabarles Sales, San Haldon, and Anam Daram. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you find value with the episode today. So can we ask Sangeeta to join us? Before we left for a short break, Sangeeta, you mentioned about leadership values. So what do you think are the top three values that every leader should have so that he or she can lead the future workforce?
Right. So let me give it to you as an acronym again, Jen. So you can remember values as an acronym, right? Because
Mhm.
we're talking about values. So what is V? V is the vision for future. How exactly
Mhm.
are you planning, and what is the vision? Where do you want to move towards? So V is for the vision. A is adaptability, but adaptability with integrity. That is important because as a leader, you have to be having great amount of integrity. So adaptability with integrity. L is to lead with responsibility, right? As a leader, that's what is expected of you. And U is being unbiased and uplifting. You need to be unbiased in your views, and that's what DEI
Mhm.
is all about, right? Being unbiased, and at the same time, you need to uplift the people. So U is unbiased and uplifting. E is to empower and inspire the team, because only if you empower your people, they will want to do more for you as a leader. So empower and at the same time inspire them. And S is about serving and building trust, because the trust
Mhm.
element is very crucial for a leader. And therefore, I would say serve your people, serve your team, and build trust as well. So V is the vision for future. A is adaptability with integrity. L is leading with responsibility. U is unbiased and uplifting. E is empowering and inspiring the team. And S is serving and building trust. So that is what the values that I believe each leader should be having, the basic things. And therefore the future leader, I'd say that future leader drives high performance that results in financial success. So that's why I feel those three are kind of interlinked, and it's a triangle. The leadership leading to high performance, leading to the financial success.
All right. You mentioned you using all these many acronyms during this conversation reminds me of beautiful and good friend Belle Mondraves. I hope you're watching right now. She is also I called her acronym queen. But I think for the Philippines now, I'll call her acronym queen of the Philippines, and then Sanjita will be the acronym queen of India.
Awesome, thank you. I would love to meet her. Yes.
So you have a new moniker now, aside from game enabler. Yeah, so I'm beginning. So these acronyms are making it easier for everyone to remember what these are.
Yes.
So for values, I have the question about the vision. It's really important, right? And also adaptability, lead with responsibility. We should only ask our employees to do the things that we ourselves are willing to do,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Very
Yeah.
much.
And then also being unbiased, support,
Yes.
accept, and celebrate diversity and differences, individual differences in
Yes.
the workplace,
Yeah.
because we empower and we complement each other.
Yes.
And then also service, yes, we need we serve
Yeah.
as leaders.
Yes.
But for empower now, how do we, in this remote work that we have, and I'm pretty sure that it is going to be beyond this pandemic, perhaps not 100% remote work, but at least hybrid work. How do we balance empowerment and autonomy? The reason I'm asking, Sangeeta, is because I I know some companies, because they have their employees transfer to work from home setup. Now they are requiring their employees to download or to make use of apps that track the time. And sometimes it can be some, not all. Some of the employees, they feel that it encroaches on their privacy, and they feel that it's too draconian, if I may say. Like they don't feel any freedom anymore.
True.
So for remote work setup, right now, for companies that are doing that right now, and for those companies who are thinking, pondering on going full time on full on remote work setup, how can we balance empowerment and employee autonomy?
Yes. So this is exactly what I meant by the trust factor. Now, by doing this, the messaging that you're giving your employees is that, hey, I don't trust you. And that
Mm,
is why I want to, track how, what exactly are you up to. So this is a very bad message that people are given, and it leaves a bad taste because they realize, oh, they don't trust me. And, the human mind, the psychology is such that they want to rebel. So that's when the mind actually looks for alternatives to see how they can cheat, how they can, kind of get over and, bypass these rules, because that's how humans are, right? But whereas you trust your people, and then you start telling them that, you know uh, I trust you, I empower
mm,
you to deliver the best, right? And these are the results that was expected from you, and this is the time frame. Now if you were to just give something like a framework, right, for them to say, this is what I expect from you, these are your goals, these is your target, and I expect you to deliver it, within this time frame or time period, then it's up to them. The ball is in their court. So they need to ensure how they can plan and, do their work and deliver the results that's expected from them. So instead
mm,
of, monitoring them and, kind of breathing behind their back to see, it's being done or not, if you can empower the teams, then that makes a whole load of difference, and the trust element is also kind of established there, when because you're saying, I know you're capable of delivering this, right? So
mm,
the trust is the key there.
mm. It's important that you highlighted that trust element, because for me, if I don't trust anyone, why would I hire him or her, right?
Yeah.
That's the foundation of all relationships, at least for
True.
me.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm. Yeah, and I believe that if your employees feel trusted, they are more apt to
Yeah.
do more, far and above, beyond what they are expected to do.
Correct. Very true.
And that equates, of course, to high performing teams.
Yes,
Hmm.
definitely. Yes.
Okay. So may I ask Sangeeta, what is it that you want to create or build in the next 6 to 12 months? Because you've mentioned that you have already written several books, you're a coach, you're a speaker, and you also have many seminars and webinars. So what is it that you want to create in the next 6 to 12
Right.
months?
Right, great. So I would like to create a positive impact on as many people and as many businesses as possible. So, touch more lives, uplift them. That's why I said my mission is to empower, enable, empower, and elevate. So I want to do more of that and reach out to as many people as possible and get more global, because the one thing the pandemic has opened up for me as a coach is there are no longer the geographical constraints. So I'm already working with different clients from different parts of the world. So I hope I can extend beyond and see how I can contribute to their growth.
All the best in all your endeavors, Sangeeta. I'm sure you will be successful with that leadership at the core of your work.
Thank you so much, Jen, and it was lovely being here, and you're a great host, and thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much. We've learned a lot from you, Sangeeta. Thank you for being a guest, dropping in on to Stories from the Fringe. So please tell us, how can our viewers stay in touch with you, follow you, and your work on social media?
Yes, I'm active on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Insta. My name is Sangeeta Sumesh, but you can just look up for the Gain Enabler, and you will
Mhm.
find me on all these platforms, which is Facebook, your Insta, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter as well.
Mhm.
So maybe you could just post my handles in the chat box.
Mhm.
I'm happy
Thank
to
you,
connect.
Sangeeta.
Yeah, I'm happy to connect. Yeah.
Mhm. Dear viewers, if you've loved today's episode, please let us know in the comments below. Let Sangeeta know that you found value in today's episode. And if you haven't done it yet, we encourage you to encourage your loved ones, families, and friends to support Stories from the Fridge. Join us next Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Philippine Standard Time. And so that we can continue providing you with the content that you need or you want. Also, you can drop those comments in the chat box. So for those who decided to spend their day with us, thank you so much for being here. And you have a good rest of your day or evening, depending where you are in the world. God bless you all.